Welcome back to another edition of Bold Blind Beauty on Air, the show that's clearing the air for more air, access, inclusion, and representation. My name is Stephanie McCoy, and with me are my co-hosts.
I'm Dana Hinnett.
I'm Nesreen Buddha.
And this is Sylvia Stenson Perez.
Welcome back, Bold Blind Beauty fans, to another taste of access, inclusion, and representation. My name is Jonathan Rubinov, and today I'm in the hot seats with my co-host, Gabriella Mendonca.
Everyone, it's really good to be back here with Jonathan, talking to Andy again. Once again, we'll be sharing our unique experiences of what it's been like being visually impaired throughout our lives, as well as sharing our honest viewpoints of living with this disability for many years now.
Thank you, Gabby. I'm really looking forward to get started. First things first, I would love to introduce our lovely interviewer, Andrea Chadwick, who has a robust background in voice acting, advocating for the blind community, and fostering a collaborative spirit among her peers.
Hello, everyone. I hope all of you are doing well. I'm back today with some more intriguing and thoughtful questions I have here for both Jonathan and Gabby. So get ready. We will continue to talk about the challenges that come with living with blindness and some strategies that have been proven effective to manage this disability, both in personal and professional life. So, why don't you go first this time, Jonathan? Are you ready? You ready for me, Jonathan?
Sure thing. Let's get this show on a roll.
All right, that's awesome. So let's do something. Here's a question for you, and it's something funny, right? Have you had any funny or unexpected moments because of your visual impairment?
Yeah, I definitely have. This is more like of an embarrassing moment, but then like I found it funny after. So basically, I was in an Uber. It was like a shared ride with another passenger, and she just randomly started talking. She's like, "How are you? What's going on?" And I thought she was talking to me because I don't know, just like the direction of her voice. I thought she was like greeting me. So I'm like, "Good, good. What's up? How are you?" And she's like, "My day was good. What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just going to school right now." And then like I realized that she was actually talking on the phone and not me. And then I got super embarrassed. But then we kind of laughed about it after her phone conversation, and then we laughed about it. It was funny.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's definitely funny, right?
Hmm.
We can always giggle at different situations. How about you, Gabby?
I feel like I definitely have some funny moments. I feel like one of the funniest moments I probably have is to do with like when I was back in college. It first started out as like an embarrassing moment, but one of my friends came over to give me a hug and I didn't know that he had a cup of coffee in his other hand. And so it was like
Oh
one of
no.
those like awkward one arm side hugs. And
Oh
so
no.
I love hugs. So I was like, "Oh, give me a hug." And I literally like hugged my friend and I knocked his entire cup of coffee out of his hand and it fell to the
Oh,
floor. And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." Like, and then I felt bad the entire day, but we were able to laugh at it. I was like, "Can I give you the money to go pay for another one?" He's like, "No, no, it's okay." So,
oh.
yeah, I would say that was like a mixture of the two.
Well, at least the coffee didn't get on you both. At least it fell to
Right.
the floor. So that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
So, how do you guys describe your vision to other kids? Gabby, you can take this one first.
So, I would say the way that I describe it is that essentially, I don't have any light or shadow perception. And what that means is that I can't see anything. But when someone is blind and they don't have light or shadow perception, it can be like they won't be able to see people's faces or even like the outline, like a profile of a person. And the way I try to describe it is that essentially I say I see nothing, but at the same time, there's always the question of, so when I close my eyes and I say I see nothing, is that the same thing? And I'm like, well, I don't really know because that's a very different experience, you know? Um, but I always try to educate on my specific eye condition, which is optic atrophy, and that affects the optic nerve.
That's good. And because I know that's a question that everybody has, right? Those that
Mm-hmm.
can see, and if they try and envision what your experience is, I know that's that common question to sightseeing individuals. How about you, Jonathan?
Honestly, the way I would describe it to kids is that I basically have hand motion acuity vision, which means like I can see like whenever someone like shakes their hand in front of me, I could see I have light perception, I have color perception. Like basically I cannot read text on my iPad, for example, but I could see like the colors. Like for
Hmm.
example, like in the messages app, like I could see the blue bubbles, like the
Oh,
text
wow. Okay.
messages. I can't see, what's written in the messages, but I can see like those bubbles. So
Okay.
it's honestly it's really not a lot to work with, but like I'm still trying to preserve the small amount of sight I have left. But
No. Yeah.
it's not much more than just light,
Yeah.
shadow, color, light, and motion. That's it.
Okay. That's good to know. And again, it's that whole thought process, right? Blindness is a spectrum, so everybody has a different experience. They can see differently. So these are the conversations that we need to have, right? So we can understand. So I appreciate that. Thank you both for that. So I am going to ask you something interesting. Is there a superhero, character, or person you really look up to, and why? Oh, it's a good one, right? So let's think about it. And when you're ready, let me know who wants to answer first.
I can go.
Okay, go ahead, Gabby.
This is gonna sound so cliche, but probably like in a very, if we're just thinking like, not like realistically, specifically focused, probably Daredevil. I feel like when I was in college, there was a point in time where I was actually called Daredevil like so much because I knew how to navigate that campus so well. And I would be assisting sighted students to find offices that they couldn't find.
You go, Gabby. You go.
And like, the faculty would always crack up because like I would be in an office, specifically like the accommodations office, and I was really cool with the first, director that we had. And students would come into her office and be like, "Oh, I'm trying to find the registrar's office," or "I'm trying to go here." And, if she's busy, she can't like walk away. And so she'd be like, "Okay, you have to go here and turn down this hall." And then they would be like, "Oh, okay." And I would be like, it's fine. I'd be like, "I'll take you, I'll take you." And I would take them. And even there was a point in time where like, I don't know, people would try to walk up to me and be like, "Hi." And I'm like, "Hi, so and so." Like, if it was you, Andy, and you came up and you like maybe thought I didn't know that it was you, I would still know. And so people would be like, "You really are like Daredevil." So I would say, like, if we're just joking, I would say that definitely Daredevil. I think he's like super cool.
Oh no, that's not a joke. It's wonderful. I love that about you. And I see that you're in New York. So you're
Mm-hmm.
definitely a daredevil. That's my opinion. But anyway, you are wonderful. I appreciate that answer. How about you, Jonathan?
Honestly, if I can name a person on top of my head, it would be Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple.
Oh, okay.
Because honestly, like if you take a moment and just kind of like think about like the impact he had on like technology and shaping how the world communicates, like what he has been doing since the death of Steve Jobs.
Yep.
It's incredible. Like I follow Apple very closely. What he has done to the iPhone, how it changed, so many times, and just how he made Apple, the most successful company in the world. And just it's just an incredible story that I don't think any other CEO can do.
Yeah.
Also, he also takes accessibility very seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He definitely prioritizes on, making all his product lines accessible from, iPhones, Macs, Apple Watches. One of the, biggest reasons people love Apple is because they care about all their consumers,
Yep. Hmm.
ranging from, if they're disabled, or if they're also like financially disadvantaged, they also have budget products for every single like product line.
Yeah.
Like if you want to buy a cheap iPad, they have that. Like if you want to buy an iPhone that's under $600, they have that. Like they serve so many different demographics of people. That's what I'm trying to say. And Tim Cook is definitely the head of what Apple has been able to do successfully over the last decade.
Yeah.
I think you just did a great advertisement for Apple because there were
Mm-hmm.
certain
Yeah.
things that I didn't even know. So I actually appreciate that one.
Yeah.
Well done.
I'm
Well
sorry.
done. Go
Okay.
ahead, Gabby.
Did you want to say something? I'm sorry.
No, no, you good.
Okay.
You good.
I feel like you're definitely right. I feel like Tim Cook has done a really good job with just like how Apple has become one of the biggest companies that is really focused on accessibility. So if I was to pick like a real life person, I would probably say him too. But like fictional characters, I would say Daredevil. But no, I think Tim Cook, like, think back to many years ago. I mean, I can only imagine. It was really hard for people like us who are blind and visually impaired to live in a world where they felt that they were properly supported. And I feel like Apple has done a really good job, especially now that technology continues to grow and become better at making sure that each person with a disability has some sort of feature on their iPhone or their iPad or their computer so that they can, you know, navigate and have a smooth workflow. And so I would say, yeah, definitely. I agree with you, Jonathan.
Yeah, and everything that they done for developers, the
Mm-hmm.
opportunities they gave them, the type of apps that developers can create, just Apple has given like them a platform to create anything that they want, and to share it among millions of iPhone users, changing their lives in the process. I can name so many apps that
Mm-hmm.
just made a huge impact on making my life more productive. And Apple's platform of billions of devices has allowed us to use those apps and share our experiences with different Apple users.
Yeah.
So like, been
That's
amazing. No,
awesome,
no other
Jonathan.
company could do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you do you mind sharing some of those apps that you use that has helped you navigate throughout your day?
For sure. So one app that I started using is called Be My Eyes. It's essentially an app where a visually impaired person can call a sighted volunteer.
Yeah,
It's like a video call, right?
yeah.
And then you can basically use your iPhone camera to help you locate something that you lost, or just to help you like navigate a certain scene. So for example, like if I make a call, a volunteer will pick up and I can ask them, "Hey, I dropped my AirPods on the floor. Can you help me find them?" And you can scan your phone around the room, and then once they see the AirPods on the floor through your camera, they can let you know, and they can help you just find stuff around your room, for example. That's one use case of it.
Wow.
Other use cases include reading a sign in the distance, helping to identify like colors of clothing if you're colorblind,
Mhm.
helping you also navigate like street crossings if you're in a very high risk emergency situation, you have no one else to ask, and then that's definitely a use case it could be helpful for.
Wow. And that's only on Apple?
That's also on Android, yeah.
Okay. The reason why I'm like, hey, can you talk about what resources you're using? Because you never know, somebody could be listening to this and had no idea what what's available to them. So
Yeah.
I think this is a good conversation to have. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
How about
Absolutely.
how about you, Gabby? What is something that you're using that, you think everybody should know about?
So I'm also a huge user of Be My Eyes. I use them all the time. And actually, if you have the Meta Ray-Ban glasses, you can connect the Be My Eyes app to the Meta Ray-Ban glasses. And then instead of having to take out your phone to say, "Hey, could you read me the instructions on this box or could you help me find this?" They will be able to see from your glasses camera, which is a really cool feature. And then for me, I love the app PixieBot. I think it's a really cool app. So I use that a lot for the purposes of posting to social media or just for like my own, like, camera roll to save photos and videos. But
Oh, wow.
PixieBot is so funny because it feels like just one of those friends that you can call up that like describes things to you in the funniest yet loving ways. It like it'll give you like full alt text and then you can do like follow-up questions to ask it. So for instance, if I have a video and I want to share that to TikTok or Instagram, once it's finished describing what's in the video, I'll say, okay, can you tell me, is this video good quality? Is it good to post it? And sometimes it'll say, oh, maybe this could be tweaked a bit, but it's a really useful tool. And then two other apps that I really like is one is called One Step Reader. It's formerly known as KNFB Reader. I especially use that a lot when I was in college, but that's
Mhm.
really good for converting PDFs to like plain text if you're having a hard time with them. It's good for that purpose. You can like save the files to your phone or your iPad. You can take a picture of a document or a sign and it'll, describe it to you. So it has a couple cool features. And the last one is Voice Dream Reader. That one you can read books through. So you can actually like Bookshare is a big, company that has books listed of and available to
Mhm.
and for blind people and people with other disabilities. But in that app, you can also like if you download a PDF too, you can even open it in there. Usually when I watch like certain shows that I get from other platforms that like let's say Netflix doesn't have a show with audio description, but I go to like a website like the Audio Vault and I download it, I can open it in Voice Stream Reader and play it in there. So it has a couple cool functions.
Oh my gosh, that's very cool. I did not know any of that. That's awesome. Guys, maybe we should do this every month. Update on what's out there. That's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of touched on social media, and I'm going to pivot to social media. So I have a question with some recent activity that I'm seeing out there. This is to both of you. So what do you want the sighted community to know about social media and how we can include everyone in posts, and also what annoys you about social media the most?
Oh, yeah. Jonathan, do you want to go or?
Sure.
Okay.
I think social media serves a very important purpose, right? Like I would personally share different unique experiences that I want other people to view, right? Like I would have someone recording me, on the ice field during a blind hockey game, and just to see how we play, just for
Yeah.
people to be familiar with this type of adaptive sport
Yep.
that they can view, because I feel like many people unfortunately believe that blind people don't have many options, for entertainment. But I just want to show them that, like, we're just capable as someone as sighted people and,
Yep.
participating in society and making a meaningful difference in our communities. Just like if I can have a video online of me playing, blind baseball or blind hockey on Instagram, I think that will really educate a large amount of people that blind people can also participate in real sports and become active members in a way that's really powerful, right?
Yep.
Mm,
For us players and for the coaches to view like that their sports getting recognition online, it will really
Yep.
make people take blind people more seriously, and playing sports and being involved in different community activities. It's a very powerful thing for us to show it on social media.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for that answer. How
Hmm.
about you, Gabby?
yeah. So what I would want people to know is that as blind people, we want to and we also deserve to be included on social media. And I feel like this also ties into like what annoys me about social media because oftentimes people will say like, I don't have blind people that are following my page, so why does it matter if I put alt text in my photos, or why does it matter if I try to use audio descriptions to describe a video? Things that we rely on that really do help us when we're on social media. And this is what I always try to say to people when they think that there's blind people that aren't following them. It's like, just because that isn't the case right now, that doesn't mean that it never will be the case. And
Yep.
you also don't know that that person is blind. There could be a blind person following you, but they're not going to put it in their bio, or it's not going to be as obvious as you think it might be. And so I think all around inclusion is really important. And I think what annoys me the most as someone that is on social media so much is the fact that no matter how many of us try our hardest to educate and put out the right things, some people just do not want to make their content inclusive or accessible. And because of that, it kind of like limits us as blind people from accessing social media the way that sighted people can. Because to certain sighted people, it doesn't matter if this post has alt text. To them, they think if I put alt text in my photo, then a sighted person's going to see that. And it's like, no, that's not the case. And even if they do, then, that's okay. Like that shouldn't be an issue. But again, what Jonathan said, I think for us to share things that we're doing, like when I do tandem cycling or I'm traveling or, I'm trying out new pieces of technology, like it it has given so many people, and I hope that it continues to show other blind people and other sighted people, like, hey, okay, I don't have to be closed-minded to this community because people are actually genuinely trying to educate us, and we just haven't been paying attention enough to really listen. I think that's why it's so great when we have allies. Like, for instance, Roy Samuelson is a huge ally for the blind community.
Yes.
He's an audio description. I know you are too, Andy, which is like so amazing. And so, yeah, I would just say that, like, keep an open mind, try your best to make your content as accessible and as inclusive as you possibly can. And if you're having a hard time figuring out what that looks like, don't be afraid to do the research and you can find so many amazing creators that are blind and disabled on social media that would be more than happy to make a video about it.
Oh, I love this. I love the answers. For me, I just think this is one of the important conversations that we have to have, right?
Yeah.
And I know sometimes we have to repeat ourselves because I'm going to be honest, there's sometimes I totally forget. I think it's added and then I go back and it's not added. So, forgive me, everybody, because I'm just
No,
putting it
you're
out. I do think it's important for us to have the conversation and we have to keep repeating. And that's just how we start to learn and that's how we start incorporating it. And, you know, we just have to keep saying it. We just have to keep having these conversations because you guys know I'm seeing the conversations out there. I'm not one to look at the post responses often, but some of the responses that I'm seeing, I just know we need to have that education piece. So I appreciate both of you for saying that 100%. So with that being said, I have another question for you. How do you prefer people to offer you help? If anybody wants to help you
Yeah.
in unfamiliar situations, what do you prefer? If I came up to you, what would you prefer when somebody asks, "Hey, how can I help you?"
Yeah.
Gabby, do you want to take that?
Sure. If somebody wanted to help me, I think it would depend on the context, but just generally speaking, I would say I really appreciate that you want to help me. I'm really grateful for that because there's not often that option in certain situations. If I'm outside and I'm doing independent travel, there's been moments where people will literally walk past me and not turn around to say, "Hey, can I help you with something?" Or "Are
Yeah,
you trying to find a place to go?" Or whatever the case
yeah,
might be. So if that's what the case is, then
yeah.
I would be really grateful. I mean, if I can tell a quick story, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
One time I had a doctor's appointment and I was going to find a deli to grab something to drink. And I was walking down the block and I didn't know that the deli was across the street from the doctor's office because they said it was on the corner. And
Mhm.
this lovely woman came up to me and she's like, "Hi, are you trying to go somewhere?" And I was like, "Yes, actually, I'm just going to the deli." And she told me it was across the street. And I was like, "Oh, okay." And she's like, "Do you want me to walk you over?" And I was like, "Yes, please, if you wouldn't mind." So she walks me over and we're talking and we get there. And I'm thinking, she's gonna be like, "Okay, great, have a good day," because some people would just walk away. But she stayed with me while I got something to drink. And she was like, "Are you walking back across to the doctor's office?" I was like, "Yes." You really didn't have, because that was really sweet of her. And again,
Yeah,
that just goes back to there are really kind people out there.
there's
Um,
wonderful people out there. You're absolutely
mhm.
correct.
The fact that she stood there with me for, like 5 minutes. I mean, she could have been walking back across the street to her doctor's appointment within those 5 minutes, but she stood there. We spoke, and I was like, "You're really sweet for like helping me. Most people would have walked away by now." She's like, "That's how some people are." But the moment when you do find people that are kind and helpful, I think that like really shows you that, not everyone is going to turn away and not everyone
Yeah,
will walk away. People will, and they do see you. And so
yeah.
that's yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
How about you, Jonathan?
I think I ultimately prefer people helping me whenever they see me struggle. For example, there's plenty of times where like I'm trying to after class at my college to head to the main gate, right? Because the main gate is where
Mm.
you leave. It's the exit.
Yeah, yeah,
I cannot find it, and I feel like a lot of people can see me going in circles back and forth, just kind of like stumbling where to go. And
yeah,
I feel like it's really obvious that I need help, and
yeah,
some people would just kind of just ignore it and just walk by. I know
yeah,
I can ask them myself, but sometimes I'm a little bit shy, or sometimes I just have so much anxiety at that moment that I'm just too nervous to ask someone. So I wish people,
Yes.
like, whenever they have a definite thought that I need help, I wish they could just offer some assistance or ask, "Hey, do you need help?" This
yeah,
also can apply whenever I'm at a restaurant sitting with some relatives and I'm clearly struggling to put some salad on my plate. It's really like I wish someone can just ask, "Hey, do you need help with this?" I'm like,
yeah,
"Yes, please, that would be great." But sometimes I don't know.
yeah.
I think most people that I met obviously want to help me, right? Everyone's here to help and just make a difference. But like I feel like some people just need to be more assertive.
I think what that is there's a lot of people in this world that they're apprehensive, right? They're scared to help, even though in their heart they want to.
Right.
Or it's that situation where they think somebody else is going to do it. So I get that. I understand that. Thank you for sharing that. And everybody, if you see somebody, help. That's it.
Yeah.
If they
Right.
don't need it, they'll say no, thank you. But like I said, this is the time where we have to have these conversations, right? That's
Yeah.
the
Yes.
moral of this story. And so, my last question to wind this down: what do you want everyone to understand and take away from this podcast today? Let's go with Gabby.
I think I really want everyone to take away from this podcast kindness, openness, respect, understanding, and knowing that we are people too. We deserve to have friends and be in relationships and live our lives, have jobs, go to school, and do every single thing that a able-bodied person can do.
Yeah,
So having a specific mindset about the blind community puts us in a box and limits us. And so if you can take away from this podcast the understanding of being open to learning something new. It's not always about benefiting the other person, but it sometimes is about benefiting yourself because you're learning something new about people that you maybe have not met before or have not spoken to before, or you just don't know the right things to say or to do. And I would just say we like to have fun too, like we go out, we do stuff. We are normal people. We just have to adapt our lifestyles to make it accessible for us. But that doesn't mean that we can't live a successful and a thriving life with good people and doing the things that we love to do. So, yeah, we like to laugh too. So, take all of that away from the podcast.
How about you, Jonathan?
My ultimate piece of advice is like there's always a way. Like if you have a goal that you want to accomplish, if you want to be successful, if you happen to be blind, like we live in an age where there's thankfully so many different opportunities that we can take to accomplish what we want, from getting, the degree that you want or becoming a millionaire. It's just up to you. It's all about the people you surround yourself with. It's about the connections you make. It's about how you're taking care of your health. That's also very important. And of course, everyone should be helpful, compassionate, understanding to each other. But even if you meet, people that disrespect you or despise you, you should always be inspired to keep going forward, because you'll never know who you will meet next or what kind of opportunities you will encounter in the future. So even
Yes.
if you're on a bumpy road, keep going, keep crossing it. But there's always light at the end of the tunnel. And giving up is just the worst. I can't imagine like where I would be right now if I just like didn't finish college.
You guys, that was awesome. Both of you are my hearts and you mean the world to me. But what both of you just said there, this is my wish that everybody understands and can take away from this podcast with a little bit of clarity, right? So, with that being said, we've come to the end of the questions.
Okay. Well, that's all for today, everyone. We really hope you enjoyed this segment of Bold Blind Beauty on air. It was really great co hosting with you again, Jonathan.
Thank you, Gabby. This was a really wonderful experience to be a part of. I also really want to thank Andy for being such an incredible host as always.
Oh, bless. It's always a pleasure recording with you guys. I really appreciate you having me on today. Cheers.
And remember, our conversation doesn't end here. So remember to subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes with our regular hosts and more incredible guests.
And for more behind the scenes content, personal stories, and daily doses of empowerment, be sure to follow the Bold Blind Beauty community on Instagram.
Your support truly means the world to us as we continue to amplify diverse voices and share powerful stories. Let's keep advocating together for access, inclusion, and representation.
Until next time, stay bold and beautiful.